Prince Reboot Bel-Air is a slap in the face for bigger men. I support this article 110%. I'm a bigger man. That's not necessarily true, but my weight has fluctuated once or twice in my life. I'm like $180, but at like 5'6" or 5'5", that's pretty. You have to have either good muscle tone or you have to work out a lot to keep that and have it not be like flab. But that's not the point of this article. I feel bad for the actor in the new series because I love this actor, Adrian Holmes. But this article is from The Independent and says, a thin Uncle Phil, why the Fresh Prince reboot Bel-Air is a slap in the face to for bigger men. Will Smith's 90s comedy series is being rebooted as a gritty drama that has divided fans. Imagine my shock. But it's the reimagining of Uncle Phil as a muscular patriarch that's bothering Ed Cumming. Poor Ed Cumming. It says, like many British millennials, I have sacred memories of late afternoons in the early 90s, or they say noughties. I knew that would upset you. Yeah. I knew that would upset you. The early noughties, when BBC Two laid on The Simpsons and The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air back to back. This holy 1-2 family-friendly American This holy 1-2 of family-friendly American entertainment has never been bettered. That's probably right. I watched the trailer for the rebooted, more grown-up version of Fresh Prince Bel-Air with the nervous hope of someone checking a bottle of milk to see if it had gone off. Remaking beloved programs is a risky business. That is absolutely true. Yeah. Remember, you don't have built-in fans, you have built-in critics. That is one of the most prophetic things that I've heard lately. That was that's good. The quartering, heard that from someone else. And that was it's so true. Like you get built-in name recognition, and with that, all the scrutiny that comes with it. Yeah. They tend to be at best pointless and at worst enough to be retrospectively diminish your impression of the original. That is more often than not what happens. We just praised the Dexter reboot the other day as being not offensive to the original series. The finale was not good, but the original finale wasn't good either. Yeah. So it was like, we're like, I mean, in a world where it could have gone really, really wrong, I'll settle for just meh. Like, it's sad that that's what you have to work with now. You have to beg for scraps. So sadly, any critical faculties I have were rendered mute. Watching the trailer, I could only manage a single thought. What the hell have they done to Uncle Phil? Played by James Avery. Uncle Phil was a big character, literally and figuratively. He had a hearty appetite and the girth to prove it. It fits his character without wishing to pretend this was the kind of thing I reflected on much after school when I was 10. I think as someone prone to a little softness around the edges, I found Uncle Phil subconsciously reassuring. So I think we're kind of getting into the diversity and representation argument. He's like, I saw someone who looked like me. And that's his, I don't know if that makes this a slap in the face to all bigger men, but I digress. It says, here was a bloke who was powerful, popular, professionally successful, and romantically attractive, albeit not all of them and not all at the same time. If Will, as in Smith, was the prince, Phil was the king. Whatever scraps Will, Carlton, and the rest got themselves into, Phil was always there to bail them out. Sure, Phil could be stern and had a temper, but it was always for the right reasons. That was the beautiful thing about him. Yep. He was very stoic and stern in the way he taught his life lessons. It was the best part of it.
Yeah, my favorite episodes when Will and Carlton, they went to jail because they thought they stole a car from a rich white man, and they went to jail because they're two black men driving an expensive car. And then Phil is like, release them. Those are my son and nephew. And they're like, no, sir, you need... they need a lawyer and they need to go through this. And he's like, I am their lawyer and I am their parental guardian. Release them now because I am the judge of this court.
One could say that he abused his privilege as a judge. I'm just saying.
I know, but it was so powerful. Like having
for good TV.
Yeah, it's really good for TV because during that time period.
And just something a real fierce father would do for the kids that he loved. That part's beautiful.
Yeah, like another favorite episode of mine is where like Will's dad finally came into his life, but then he disappeared again. And like he was like venting to Phil because like he kind of felt bad because earlier in that episode he said, "You're not my father."
Yeah.
And then like he kind of apologized but not really.
Yeah, well,
and it was like so heartbreaking. So
that's
why
great.
I said I'm kind of excited for this TV show because I feel like they can do it, but I just don't like the actor choices. I'm just saying.
Just a brief digression off of that comment, because that is like the seminal, Fresh Prince episode, and they're all super memorable. But Will Smith writes about that experience in his new memoir. Did you guys?
No,
read it?
I wanted to read it because I saw an advertisement for it somewhere downtown,
It's
like
pretty
nearby
good.
DC.
But he writes about how James Avery became his de facto father on the set, and they had that dynamic. And James Avery, who was this classically trained actor, was very. He only would give out morsels of like compliments to Will. It was always kind of like the stern,
keeps him level-headed.
father. Yes.
Yeah.
But the only time, but like Will Smith he really struggled to like pull that scene off, But James Avery was just like, look at me, let's do the scene.
Yeah.
And Will Smith did it, and he got the best compliment he ever got from Uncle Phil. He was just like, okay, that was acting.
Yeah, exactly. Because did you watch the reunion episode where
I did. I did, but I started crying and I got really emotional.
He passed in 2013.
Yeah.
Same day Betty White passed this year, December
Wow.
31st. Yep.
Oh wow.
Interesting.
The years are taking them away from us.
Yes,
but
they are.
basically, I love it because they said the first season of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, this is when Will started like fully acting, and like they said if you watch closely, it's him like mouthing
He
each
says
of the
everybody's
scripts.
lines, yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was so funny. I never noticed that until they pointed it out, and I rewatched it because I have the full box set of season 1, and I was watching it and I was like, no way.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's what happens if somebody's like, that'll happen a lot if you see like rappers who get hired for their first acting role.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like you can see them following them with their eyes there in a way to, or not just rap, but anybody who's not, bring in a musician who's never acted before. They might be able to work that out now to the point where you don't notice it if they give them enough coaching ahead of time. But yeah.
Yeah.
Also, go watch the movie Crossroads with Britney Spears.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
Fantastic acting.
I don't know what that movie is.
Oh, I'm gonna buy it for you on VHS, DVD,
Yes.
Blu-ray, Steelbook.
I'm scared now.
I wonder if there's a Steelbook of Crossroads. That would be
I
incredible.
don't think so because I don't think they exist anymore. Only a collector.
Steelbooks are still very common.
Well, for that kind of movie.
For that movie, probably not. So it says so that Phil could be stern and he had a temper, but it was always for the right reasons. He was ambitious for his children, anxious that the privilege afforded by his professional success would not impede them from making the best of themselves. If he was framed as Will's antagonist, that was more to do with Will's immaturity than any malice on Phil's part. Exactly. Good parenting. At heart, Phil was a deeply kind man, a male role model for Will, who gave refuge to his miscreant nephew after he got in one little fight in Philadelphia and his mother worried for his future. Uncle Phil was rich and had put himself up in a White House-looking mansion in one of the fanciest neighborhoods in America, but he was no trustafarian. Of course, they would have to bring this into this. He was a self-made man, a Princeton and Harvard graduate, a lawyer with a proud history of involvement in the civil rights movement. He embodied the American dream. He believed in waking up in the morning, dressing the part, and working hard. An archetypal Reaganite. Nice.
That's cute wording right there.
We love Ronald Reagan here. Uncle Phil was prosperity inside and out. No longer in the new trailer, Phil, now played by Adrian Holmes, is decidedly trim, broad of shoulders, but narrow of waist. Publicity photos highlight the actor's bulging guns in an outrage. It's an outrage. Uncle Phil should not have guns. So Uncle Phil should not be in shape is what he's saying. Bad for you to be in shape, Uncle Phil.
Well, also, maybe we get to see how he turns fat.
No, they'll never. Not
That would be a plot twist.
that would be interesting.
It would be
maybe
funny.
they put him in a fat suit in the last episode.
Maybe.
Dude.
But I just don't like the series because like they kind of have like, you know how like Will comes into the boarding school for the first time and like his first day he kind of has like troubles. In the new series, they kind of include that. I wish they didn't do it. I wish like they did it before he entered into Bel-Air. But it's whatever. I'm still excited for it.
We shouldn't be surprised. Gradually, the big men are being winnowed out of TV. They're being ousted along with the red-haired women.
Oh, come on. Leave Peppa Pig's dad alone.
There will be no fat men and no red-haired women eventually. It's the ginger side and the
Faticide.
In the fat apocalypse.
Give them all one series.
Put them all in one.
Yeah.
Oh, fat redheads.
It'll be called Big Red.
Big Red.
There was a time when you hardly moved for them. Mark Addy and Still Standing, John Goodman and Roseanne, Jackie Gleason in The Honeymooners, Kevin James in The King of Queens. What they're forgetting to mention is how all these big men had impossibly hot wives. That was the
Yeah.
That's the way things were. James Gandolfini in The Sopranos. They all exerted a kind of large dad authority. Uncle Phil's weight was occasionally the subject of teasing from the younger generation, and he did suffer a massive heart attack, but it was never a moral failing. He was just a big dude. His size was a part of him, but far from his only quality. They're arguing for what we always argue for. 3-dimensional characters. That should be more than just...
It's a bit more than 3-dimensional with Uncle Phil.
Oh, man. That was brutal. But they're arguing for somebody who's more than just your race, more than just your gender, more than just your sexual preference, which we're always talking about. Make your characters more than that. Your character can be more than just big or skinny as long as he's not just some type of stereotype, right? So it's like he's almost there. He almost gets it, but he doesn't quite get it.
I'm just bristling. This person is so stupid. I can't believe this person is allowed to have a keyboard. Every single point they're making is so dumb.
This seems like a healthier message than the current situation on TV. What? The message of get healthy and have guns?
Basically, it's just another guy that he's like, I looked up to Uncle Phil. Like, literally looked up. Because he was the big guy that I could be.
Also, this guy's, he's delusional in the sense that he says, he was just, this seems like a healthier message. It says he was just a big dude, and size was a part of him, but not far from his only quality. This seems like a healthier message than the current situation on TV, where everyone looks like they've been sculpted by Michelangelo, except for one or two fat exceptions. They literally point out their own. In the next article, it'll be somebody saying, "Look at this representation from this larger, overweight person." So they both want to have their cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
Whether they like it or not. Television, movies, comic books, photography are visual mediums, and people are going to be drawn to aesthetically pleasing people, right? So people do not want to go see a chubby James Bond. They don't. They never have. They never will. I'm sorry to break it to you. You could maybe, and when they do that, they have to make it part of the character, which makes it even worse because you're drawing attention to it, and it becomes all the character is, right? So when we have these movies where these people are, it's James Bond, he's a spy. You're not supposed to identify with the spy. You're supposed to be along for the ride, right? It's like men want to be him, women want to be with him. You're not supposed to see that as attainable. You're supposed to see that as a story you want to sit down and watch to consume. So they have a little bit more of an argument with Uncle Phil, who's supposed to represent just your average dad. But like I said, this is an era where there's more diverse body types on screen than there has ever been before in Hollywood.
Yeah, they're slowly destroying stuff that we all identified with. Like, I really love Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So this new series, I really hope they can do it well. That's what I'm hoping for. But yeah, fat Uncle Phil, bring him back, please. Make the actor fat. Make him like de-evolve. Like, he has a fat
Will's just too much for him to hold on. He's just like, oh my god, I can't do this. I can't let him go. They're also making it like a mystery. They're like, we can't tell him why we took him in. I'm like, oh god. Really?
The trailer tells you pretty much why he went to Bel-Air.
No, they're saying why the family was so accommodating to him. They're
it's not that hard.
Yeah, it's not a big stretch.
Yep. For all the talk of body positivity and diversity, big guys are rarer than ever. See, it's sexism against men.
Come on. They mentioned keto diets.
When Modern Family finished in 2020, talking to it with Eric Stone Street's cuddly icon Cameron Tucker, so too did the most prominent live-action Big Dad. The remaining Big Dads tend to be animated. Think of Homer Simpson, Peter Griffin, and Peppa, useless daddy pig who gets stuck in the soft play area. And the Big Dads are the one thing that Uncle Phil had that a lot of those other dads don't is Uncle Phil was portrayed as strong, confident, competent, and a good dad. Homer Simpson is portrayed as a goof.
Same thing with Peter Griffin.
Exactly. They're all it's almost as if they're equating being oversized with being bad.
But Cameron Tucker from Modern Family, even though he was like a big goof, like he had moments where he was like very strong, like how he explained, because like they looked at him because he's one of the gay guys, gay characters in that show. They didn't realize that he knew how to play football and he knows how to lift up things with his own strength and he knows how to build.
Yeah.
Because they always thought of him as like the big.
It's like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer for
fat
you are
guys.
useful. I remember reading like an article about like how Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was harmful because it means people only use you for what you're good for.
Oh,
So
that's dumb.
I don't know.
But it also teaches kids to love yourself with your flaws.
Well, you should learn to love yourself for your flaws and what you can offer the world. It should not be used as like, yes, people are going to hold you to account for what you're good at, right? When Andy and Lydia announced their engagement, one of the first things she said when she talked about like when they got together, she's like, I looked at this guy, he was very good at his job. I was like, see, people are attracted when you're competent and you're good at what you do. That's not a bad thing.
Right.
It's not something that should be frowned upon. What are you supposed to be attracted to them because they're not good at their job? Like,
well, I guess that comes down to the question: does this bloke have a girlfriend or not? Is this bloke married? Because I can't imagine that they're just like, "Wow, great work." I mean, hearing this take is so demoralizing.
I know,
and so just baffling. Well,
what
can you do?
What part bugs you the most?
I mean, he's got it all wrong. He's missed it all. He loves the character, and he's associating the character with the body type. He's mangling the remake, which is a total reimagination with the original. I mean, he's missed it all. He's missed it all.
One could argue that the remake, being grittier, doesn't fit to have Uncle Phil look like that.
No, none of this fit. Obviously, the actor was cast to play the character, so problem solved. I mean, first of all, the only reason that you can imagine a show like this way is because you don't have the personality of Will Smith.
Yes.
When you don't have a personality like that has like just comedic talent and skill.
I don't know if there was an actor alive right now who could
not even close.
He's a once-in-a-lifetime talent.
Yes,
like you could argue that if it was like if they were going to do older Will Smith, maybe like a Michael B. Jordan could do something. He has a crap ton of charisma. Winston Duke is a very good actor, but this isn't really his genre. So there are actors where this would theoretically work, but finding a young actor at that age to be able to do that's not an easy ask of anyone.
Right.
So
didn't this whole thing just spin off of a fan trailer that
yes.
got posted?
Yeah.
A fan made like a home trail, like a fan made trailer, and then he got offered. He's the main producer on the whole thing. So that's actually a pretty cool story.
That is pretty cool. Yeah.
So
I'm excited for it either or. I don't care if Uncle Phil.
I won't be watching this.
Oh, well, that's true because I don't have Peacock TV unless somebody wants to give us a sponsorship.
It's like $4.99 a month, you cheap.
Hey.
I get it for free because I have to have Comcast internet where I live. So,
Aww.
yeah.
That's nice.
She can come over, babysit, and watch Bel-Air.
I can watch your new baby Shiloh, but I need to buy him an infant.
Don't toy with me. Don't. If you don't mean it, don't say it.
No, I don't mind it. I don't sleep. Brett and I have the same sleep schedule.
All right.
As with his dark analog, Tony Soprano, another patriarch of large appetites and firm family standards, the original Fresh Prince Uncle Phil's size made sense. Now it's out of time. In an era of Peloton and ultra marathons and keto diets, being overweight in wealthy American circles is tantamount to a failure of character. That's weapons grade projection if I've ever heard it.
What? Keto's bad.
Well, just like he's putting a lot on a phrase that he's probably never talked to someone in those circles. Like, does he know any rich people? Like how many of those people does he know and don't have like a bigger guy as like the head of the family, right?
Right.
Like not everybody's
well, it also
Bezos, who now looks like super cut and
well, also the stereotype is like a strong family man is like bigger and stronger.
Yep.
So that's why maybe that's where he's going at. Like he says, maybe he's trying to say like I wish like Uncle Phil was stronger, like a bigger image like how he was before, because it symbolizes that he's a strong family head.
But he talks about bulging muscles. That's strength.
I know, but
you're not supposed to have guns.
But I think he means like physically.
Yeah.
Not like in muscle wise. I think like more like stature wise.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he's going through that route. I don't know. Chris Carr,
he's got nothing. I mean, you know where he's from?
UK.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a whole skit where yesterday I was like,
Chris Carr's razor. Okay. Car's razor. If it comes from the UK, you can discredit it.
Yeah.
So note says all articles when Chris Carr here from the Independent and
Every once in a while, one of these blokes pulls it off, but nope, swing and a miss.
Yep.
Ed Cumming.
It's also weird because if he's from the UK, that means he doesn't really understand the dynamics of American. I don't understand the dynamics of American wealth. So how can we expect somebody from another country to, unless they actually are part of it, right?
Well,
right.
Yeah, maybe.
That's true.
But don't they have their fat characters too in the UK?
Arguably, they're a lot less. He's right in one respect that the UK is a lot less hung up on body image when it comes to these characters.
Well, yeah. Look at their teeth.
Look at the who's the Wallender, like Kenneth Branagh played like a
Sorry,
detective.
I just pulled out a random stereotype.
Yes,
Sorry.
but there's a lot of like God, I can't remember. Not Miss Marple.
Marple?
There's a bunch of like.
What's Marple?
It's a. Never mind. I'm not gonna they don't focus. Their actors aren't as heavily focused on being like the detectives in their shows look like you'd actually expect a detective to look like River or. Oh God, I'm not gonna be able to remember the name off the top of my head. But if you look at most of their like long-running detective dramas, they look like dads. They like. Have you ever seen the Honest trailer where they talk about for Ghostbusters, where like this is what movie stars look like in the '80s, and it's Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray. They all look like dads, right? So that's what they actually look like when you watch the UK series. All they've really got is David Tennant. That's their big. That's their big guy. David Tennant and well, that's not true. He's their biggest. I guess next to.
So are you saying the 1980s made dad bods a thing?
Dad bods were already a thing in the 1980s.
No, I mean like a fad, like kind of like the fashion trend, like what women want.
I don't know. I just don't know if they ever thought about it. You're picked more for your acting ability. Tom Cruise kind of brought in the pretty boy look in a lot of his. He would talk in a lot of his interviews about. He goes, whether you're getting roles or not, you have to stay in shape. You have to work out because your confidence will be affected when your body is so it's like you want to look good on camera and off camera. And before that generation, it really wasn't a thing to really worry about what you looked like with your shirt off. But as the roles where shirts came off more frequently grew, you had to worry about that stuff, which is why all these actors have personal trainers.
But come on, Kung Fu Panda proved that you can still jiggle and move.
Kung Fu Panda is animated.
Come on. But come on. It brought back body positivity. Yep. And Shrek also.
Again, animated. You're horrible at this, I'm afraid.
I'm trying to think of real characters that are fat that we've seen shirtless, but I don't think we have yet.
Okay, there you have it. So,
Homer Simpson, another animated one.
Yeah.
I'm on the roll.
You can't stop.
Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.